Anyway, so yeah, I got two cameras. So I got the greenish kind of like one that I was looking at that you were looking at earlier, which is coming from the laptop, and then a Logitech which plugged directly in, which just wasn't even working. So now it's on, following my face. If I had chat going on, I go, which one you like better? But that seems petty. Anyway, in regards, that's working. So let's go through the MIDI thing because that's important too, and I need to make that the same every time. So hang on. In the audio MIDI setup application, there is iPad enable, and you also see here the aggregate device. Now this is kind of, you have to set this up right, okay? So I'm keeping everything at 44.1K. The iConnect MIDI over here is corrected, drift correction according to the latency. We're talking milliseconds here, or very, very tiny amounts. And the iPad is similarly that way. So I'm enabling it here now. But whether I put the audio through it, I don't know, because I tried that and I failed last time. And it has to do with the clock. And the reason why, if I had it on the Motu here, I can go and I can specify, which I think I will do, as a matter of fact, because right here we have SMPTE, okay? And that's the clock that it needs to be on so that it's synchronized with machinery that's, with audio sync. So what I want to do is I want to do the drums. And one of the things that's kind of important, and this is where you can really check to see if everything is in sync. What you want to try to get is the closer you get to it, the more it becomes like it there's a noise that is associated with it being slightly off. When you buy cheap gear and you buy cheap stuff and you don't have this kind of stuff like synchronized, like when you're just kind of like putting it together with wires and stuff like that, you will definitely get into that realm, and then your audio, your stuff is going to have this big giant technical flaw in it that'll be just amplified on everything else that plays it. So to avoid that, you have to make sure that everything is exactly in sync to the freaking sample, and that's what the linear transport thing is. So we're gonna leave that there. And then the iPad is in a similar thing, and we're gonna leave it, or we're gonna walk away from that now. And there's another thing that iConnect activity. I should turn that on and make sure that that is set up properly, because if not, it's a mess. Applications here. They changed the name of it to some Oracle. That's it. I trust that shit on stage and it crashes, and it's horribly inappropriate when it does it at the worst times. Is it misconfigures itself? If you don't have it in the right port, if you put the cables wrong, whatever, it'll screw up, and then you have to turn on and try and figure it out. But in this case, when you plug it in and you turn it on and you select a device here, it shows you where it's at. So what I want is at the MCORG to control the MPC and vice versa. I don't know if I want it to go vice versa, though. This is the thing. So the MPC going to the Korg, I don't really see the need to have that, okay? The Korg going to the MPC, yes. Now we just crashed their thing here because it changed. That's good, because we want it to change. So let's go and see what it's doing now. I'm kind of initializing it here, so that's on, and that's off. And now there's an audio setting in here too. There it is. 44.1, 24-bit, and we'll save the channels, save that, and I will just say, see, everything is legit, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is good. We're going to leave it like that. Okay. Now here the audio system is going to get reinitialized. This could crash. Okay, so opening up the last... So this is really boring, but it's important for me to have this on file, and for, I would maybe condense this if somebody was doing this kind of stuff and do a tutorial on it or something, because it is a little tricky, especially the linear time code, if you don't know what you're doing. And if you're having problems with sync, which is pretty much every time. Okay, so here the MPC is in, so it's iPad any, so this should always be working. Bang. Okay, so that's triggering. That's what's the hardware that's doing that. So that's like one of like a bread and butter kind of enhancement kind of a machine. Like you kind of throw that in with a beat that's already happening, and if it's in sync, and then you can play it on a device, right? So this is playing my MPC, so you can see how fast it's going. It's pretty much instant, and it has to be, all right. And that's with the way the MIDI does it, the way it's set up. And it's calculated as well. There's adjustments. Now, one of the ways we can do the adjustments is now I'm going to record this. Oh. So one of these is, oh, okay, I'm really, really happy it worked because last time it would, but that could have been the badass mofo I got on this fucking thing. All right. This is where you hear the variations of the timing between the MIDI and the audio and the audios that is going to be joining each other there shortly. There's also a pattern on here. Now this. Now we're recording the microchord, okay? So I'm going to here's those files. It's pretty badass. Holy fuck. Away from the song. Because the point behind this is to see how much space there is between one track to the next. Okay. Now there's a delay here, okay? You can see how much. So there needs to be compensation, right? So if we look at this here, this guy's going to be on time because it's synchronized. Because it's synchronized. So what's being delayed? What needs to change the speed is the Akai. Now, the problem here with that is we have to delay what's correct. Okay, I don't know if I want to do that. So how about if we were to use this machine instead of getting into that, because like I said, you have to retard everything else, and that's retarded. We're gonna, just for the sake of see what it sounds like. Oh boy, it's gonna be badass. All right, and this is gonna give you an idea of the difference in the drifting. Okay, so now we have two similar tracks, and they're gonna vary in their phasing. Okay, as a matter of fact, oh no, undo that. My nudge, I've had it set where it's nudged per sample, which means that I would be able to shift it over to the very slightest degree. So right here, we're getting close to sample accurate here. Okay. Now these are two completely separate instruments. This is not the same thing being combined. This is the kick of the that's on the MPC version on the iPad. And the one on top is the machine itself. The one that's horribly exaggerated, of course, is the one that's on the iPad because of, you play that at parties and of course you're gonna crank the crap out of it, especially that floor shaker. Okay. Anyway, we don't want to listen to the MIDI now, which looks like it took off. Now we're listening to the actual audio we recorded. Okay, you hear that? What was going on there are the slight variations in timing between the snare hits. Now, how would I fix that? Well, I don't want to touch that one. I want to touch this one. Okay, see, it's drift. Well, of course, it's not. They're not synchronized. But anyway, you see, there was the file has changed in size from one to the next. Okay, so here's an important point here that if you're not careful, you can really ruin all of your recordings and not realize it until it's too late. The reason why I say this is because you get used to hearing these things. You get used to hearing the difference in very small amounts of error between with timing. I call it error because it really does fuck everything up. And like reversing the phase. You see how these two channels are together. That's increasing the bass. Now let's say this one had drift. Let's say it was the same one, but had drifted like that much from where it was at the beginning. Now it's out of phase. So in phase, out of phase, in phase, out of phase is not acceptable. It's not happening. And we did record the MIDI. It's good. Let's turn that shit off in case it was fucking things up. Okay, it's not so bad now. You can hear it in the... If it was doing that, it would be drifting. But if it's the same all the time, it's not drifting, and that means that I would be okay with that. There may be some doubling, some ba-da, 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 but that's a stylistic thing. That's fine. If you want to go like a way of flanging, that is what flanging is. Flanging is the slowing and speeding of two files that are start in sync and go out of sync on tape. Like, it's artificially done. So what am I saying? I'm saying it's time to synchronize this shit. Am I going to use the MPC iPad? No. What I am going to use is the MIDI. So I can do the same bloody thing with the MIDI. Now, the MIDI was recorded here. So let's see how tight that is. You can see how because this is corrected, like by the operating system, right? So it knows to put this in the right place so that you don't go, what the fuck? Where's this sound? No, I'm looking at the MIDI. This is MIDI. No, it's not MIDI. Where is the file I'm looking for? Right here. Okay. Okay. I don't see it. It should be showing me the info better than it is. It's at the very bottom. That's why. So I moved both of them, so it's not really fair anymore. Oh, it's on patch change. That's why. Where is it? Okay, so at this point you can. Okay, so anyway, this file is one of them is trash. This one's trash. Okay, because it moved, and besides we got the MIDI right here. So we're gonna play this, and it's gonna go to the MPC 1000, and then this is going to record the MPC 1000. So these two things need to be in sync. Okay, let's go. Oh Christ! I'll record right here. Are we still streaming? Fuck, amazing. Awesome. I don't know what that beat is. Just